Hola, buenas tardes. Hoy vamos a hablar de privacidad en Bitcoin, la importancia de la privacidad. Mario.
Yeah, I
Nice, welcome. Sorry, I'm speaking very much into the mic. Sí, vamos a hablar de la privacidad en cripto y en Bitcoin en particular. Vamos a tocar sobre varios temas como pruebas de conocimiento cero, Zero Knowledge Proofs, y qué esas innovaciones pueden traer al mundo de Bitcoin, particularmente para la privacidad. También vamos a saltar entre inglés y español para este panel para hacerlo más divertido. Yo me llamo Elena Giralt, soy de la compañía Hero Systems. Hacemos herramientas para desarrolladores que quieren construir con capas de Bitcoin, como stacks, ordinals y runes. Antes de empezar la conversación, quiero saber de ustedes, la audiencia, levanta la mano si ustedes creen que privacidad no es importante. Ok, todo el mundo, nadie, todo el mundo cree que es por lo menos un poquito importante. Ahora, levanta la mano or raise your hand if you think privacy is somewhat important, but it's not the top most urgent priority for Bitcoin to succeed. Like it's important, but there are other things that are more important than privacy. Okay, yeah. Ahora levanta la mano si crees que que Bitcoin no va a ser exitoso si no resuelve este problema de privacidad, que es la prioridad más importante. Okay. Nice. Ahora levanta la mano if you have no idea what privacy is about and you're really here to learn something. Okay. So our goal today is to convince you guys of the immense opportunity for privacy in Bitcoin and yeah, how exciting a field it is. So now I think we're going to introduce the panelists. Each of you please introduce yourself with your name, the project you're associated with, and tell me kind of the thing you're most excited about today in terms of privacy tech.
Well, hey guys, I'm Sergi Delgado. I currently work at Chain Code Labs doing Bitcoin core development. Previously, I've been doing like research for like many years in the Bitcoin space. I was also associated with like some Lightning development back in the day. And these days, I'm mainly focusing on peer-to-peer and layer one. So like working on Bitcoin Core. To me, even though like when I started like doing all this journey into Bitcoin, I decided to like go kind of like face shown in that sense. Like I didn't like put myself into behind a pseudonym or something like that. Sometimes I feel like that would have been a mistake. Like especially when you start seeing that like some developers are being like brought to like there's like some legal cases like being brought up against like developers that are trying to like fight for privacy. That's something that definitely like troubles my mind every now and then. Is like, am I gonna be like targeted at any point because like someone thinks that I'm doing something that they feel it's not legal or like it doesn't like obey like the standards that they feel like are what things are supposed to be. And honestly, I'm working on what I think it's good and it's beneficial for like the best of us, right? That plus like other legal cases that we've seen in the space about like people just thinking that, you know, like I'm claiming to be Satoshi even though like I'm full of shit, and now you owe me something, right? So even though like I didn't take that step in the beginning, I really think that privacy is an important step, and we should try to like fight for it as much as we can.
Yeah. Arkad, what about you?
No mucho.
Hola, yo soy Arkad, llevo en Bitcoin los últimos 8 años y yo empecé como un usuario que quería resguardar valor en un activo y todo fue cambiando. Al principio caí en el error de que creía que Bitcoin era privado, era anónimo, y cuando me di cuenta de que no, y que los análisis que se hacían eran en parte bastante certeros, empecé a estudiar, empecé a devorar acerca de la privacidad en Bitcoin, aprendí sobre transacciones, estaba todo el día en grupos, aprendiendo de los demás, y bueno, iba compartiendo todo lo que aprendía en Twitter y en otros medios. Y bueno, la vida me llevó a hacer podcast también con otros compañeros y ahí hablamos también de privacidad. Y luego también, pues por último, llevo unos años educando a usuarios que quieren aprender a autocustodiar Bitcoin y a operar con privacidad.
Hello everybody, hola a todos. Yo soy Jeffrey Siler, JJ Siler. Voy a hablar un poquito en inglés. Yo soy el jefe de gabinete de Input Output Global, or Chief of Staff of Input Output Global. I work for Charles Hoskinson, and we created, we were the core research and development behind another UTXO-based blockchain called Cardano. And one of the things that I'm most excited about in privacy today is one of our projects, which we consider a fourth generation blockchain, kind of a meta blockchain that offers service to lots of different ecosystems called Midnight, which is a zero knowledge chain, which uses a protocol to shield data on chain. So you can have both private data and public data in the same setup. So thank you very much for having us. Y gracias a todos.
Hey everyone, yeah, thanks for having me again. I'm Mario. I work on core protocol stuff in Ethereum Foundation, but I've been also contributing to some Bitcoin privacy projects, to some Lightning projects. And what I'm excited most about recently, I guess, are these new technologies or new chains, I guess, allowing for like fully ZK'd applications running on top of chains. Which enable full privacy and all the programmability like DarkFi, Aztec, maybe Aleo, which are scalable and private. So yeah, that makes me excited. Yeah.
It's yours, this one, yeah.
We'll do this all day, just passing the mic back. Seeing your Monero socks, I should have worn my Zcash shoes, and then we could have had a real brawl on stage.
Oh, I totally forgot to wear my balaclava. I see you, man, and I have my ready, but I forgot to put it on. It's too late already. Yeah.
Nice. Well, this is a good segue. So my first question, Mario, is for you and Sergey, and it's talking about the spectrum of privacy. So on stage, actually visually, we do have a pretty nice spectrum of privacy, from a completely anon panelist to some people who are less anonymous. So can you help us kind of explain to the audience, what are the different categories of privacy, or what's the spectrum from maybe like privacy at the protocol level, like something like Monero or Zcash, to privacy from a software perspective, and then maybe more on the end user application level? So what are some easy, like 3 broad categories for privacy?
Yeah, 3 categories. Okay, let's see if I can fit into 3 categories. But yeah, there are some fundamental differences. So first of all, like the on-chain privacy, right? How we can track transactions. So in Bitcoin UTXO model, you can follow the flow of UTXOs. If you don't leak your change, you can do a bit better, and you can do little mixes. But fundamentally, in the account model, you mostly use the same account, but you have some more fungibility because you don't track single UTXOs. So there are some trade-offs, but mostly your anonymity set, or like it's literally what Satoshi said in the white paper actually, that the privacy is only the linking your on-chain address to your identity, right? So that's some basic on-chain privacy where you don't connect something to your identity, but then we talk about the anonymity set on-chain. So we have how we are able to track these transactions. And this is the fundamental difference with like the ZK layer ones or ZK rollups, where in Bitcoin, even if you do some privacy sort of technology, or like we have CoinJoin, it has 100 inputs. We assume, okay, up to 100 people, so the anonymity set would be 100. In Monero, we have the ring signatures, which also are sort of mixing, where you have anonymity set of the number of users. In Ethereum, if I send it to Tornado Cash, there is so many inputs to the protocol, and that's my anonymity set. So I gain some privacy, but it's still limited by the anonymity set of how many users actually do this. there's not many of them. There is not many privacy-minded people on Bitcoin. Out of all the transactions, most of them are going to be leaking the change and just, you're going to be the 1% or something, right?
Yeah, if you're the only person in the privacy pool, it's pretty easy to identify you.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the fundamental difference, because in zero knowledge, or in the sort of chains where we everything prove just in ZK, you don't know anything, right? You don't know how many transactions are happening, you don't know how many users, you just have a proof, the computation is correct, good job, that's it. This allows for the privacy, but also scalability. Actually, it's kind of sad that most of the rollups are talking about scalability these days, and only few have the balls to also use it for privacy, like Aztec I mentioned. So that's just the on-chain part, and many people focus on this. Many people are excited about the CoinJoin and the ZK, and they think that's like a magic bullet, but it's so much more than that, because then from the user perspective, I use some wallet. Now, what wallet I'm using? On Bitcoin, it's asking some third-party Electrum server. On Ethereum, it's asking some third-party JSON RPC. So it's just, if I'm not running my own node, I don't have the privacy because I'm leaking the information elsewhere. And there are some interesting solutions to that. Wasabi wallet on Bitcoin has the locally verified, the filters that lets you find your transactions locally over the peer-to-peer instead of just asking a third party. You have light clients which are able to do some verification locally. ZK also allows for that. That's one interesting technology that came out recently, actually, is the shielded CSV, but maybe we'll get there later.
Yeah.
That would allow like some client-side verification of all these transactions and allow you to have some level of privacy in the wallet as well. So these are like the two categories, I think, the on-chain privacy and the network level privacy. But there is still more. I will say the third category would be like everything around. Like, are you using Windows, which just sells all your data, or are you using some secure GNU Linux distribution?
Yeah.
Are you doing like good VPN, Tor, and so on? So like. So like the blockchain itself, the connection to it, and then all of your OPSEC, I would say those are the three categories. Yeah.
It's definitely not a binary. It's not like you're pregnant or you're not, or you're 1 or 0. It's like a broad spectrum of things that have a lot of different inputs, and it's more kind of like a quantity. Like you have privacy points that you can accumulate, or anonymity points. Sergey, question for you. Y quizás te lo pregunto en español para variar. Hay muchas innovaciones en Web3 y en Bitcoin en particular que traen más privacidad al protocolo. En particular, uno de Bitcoin Silent Payments. ¿Puedes explicar a qué se refiere Bitcoin Silent Payments y cómo aporta más privacidad digital al usuario?
Sí, a mí me gustaría, para mí una de las cosas que me gusta mucho de Silent Payments, lo que me parece que es fundamental, es el hecho de que está haciendo que sea fácil conseguir transaccionar de forma privada, relativamente privada, con gente sin tener que tener interacción. O sea, al final, Silent Payments consigue una cosa muy similar que Payment Codes con Samurai conseguía, que al final es cómo consigo poder pagar a una persona sin tener que tener una comunicación directa con esta persona cada vez que le quiero pagar, sin tener que crear un invoice cada vez, sin tener que pedir una dirección cada vez, pudiendo reutilizar, en caso de Samurai sería un código de pago, pero en caso de Silent Payment sería una Silent Payment Address, ¿no? Entonces, el goal aquí es como minimizar la interacción, pero sin tener que tener un trade-off a reutilizar direcciones o a minimizar la privacidad que quieres conseguir con este tipo de pagos, ¿no? Entonces, Silent Payments al final simplemente es poner conjuntamente una serie de conceptos que ya existían y que, curiosamente, o sea, se ha decidido hacer con Taproot por temas de facilidad y de que sea más eficiente, pero que es una cosa que todos los conceptos que se han utilizado para crear Silent Payments ya existían cuando se creó el protocolo. O sea, no hay nada... Snort Signature sería como lo único un poquito más así, ¿no? Pero la gracia de esto es que, al menos desde mi punto de vista, lo hace muy fácil para el usuario. Y yo creo que uno de los problemas más graves o uno de los problemas más habituales cuando estás hablando de privacidad en cualquier tipo de protocolo es que si el usuario tiene una fricción muy grande para poder utilizar esta nueva utilidad que te proporciona privacidad, lo que va a acabar haciendo es utilizar lo que ya conoce, que le proporciona menos o que no le proporciona ningún tipo, ¿no? Entonces, yo siempre he pensado que el gran enemigo de la usabilidad es la fricción. Cuanto más fricción le pones al usuario, cuanto más, cuanto más cosas enrevesadas tienes que hacer para conseguir privacidad, menos probable es que el usuario realmente se meta, ¿no? Y aquí podríamos entrar en todo el tema de CoinJoins, Whirlpools y demás, que para la gente que realmente entiende cómo funciona es muy útil, pero para un usuario del día a día le requiere un esfuerzo muy grande, ¿no? Entonces,
No es lo primero que van a elegir.
Exacto.
O sea, si tienen la opción entre algo más fácil y algo más privado, siempre van a elegir
exacto.
la opción más
Entonces,
privada.
para mí, el objetivo
Más fácil.
es conseguir que sea tan transparente, que sea tan fácil, que el usuario sea en plan, claro, o sea, es lo mismo y encima gano, ¿no?
Sí. Arkad, querías decir algo.
Pero en Bitcoin todas las herramientas siempre tienen un trade-off. Entonces, Silent Payment, vamos a ver cómo se puede implementar en wallets y sobre todo para aquellos que no tienen nodo. Entonces, habrá algún tipo de challenge, ¿no? para implementarlo.
O sea, realmente no es una implementación fácil, se está dedicando muchísimo trabajo a conseguir implementar esto en light wallets, porque al final, de nuevo, o sea, lo que no quieres es añadir más fricción al usuario y hacer que una persona que estaba utilizando un servidor en Electrum o a lo mejor le estaba proporcionando un servicio a alguna otra persona, que de repente tenga que cambiar todo su setup porque quiere hacerse más privado, ¿no? Entonces, si incrementas la fricción en este caso, tendrías el mismo problema.
O sea, digamos que código de pago, payment, la instrucción que tiene es hacer esa transacción de notificación, pero a nivel de infraestructura es muy simple.
El requerimiento a nivel de infraestructura en principio es menor.
En Silent Payment es más exigente.
Exacto.
Entonces, yo lo que pienso aquí es que a lo mejor la infraestructura es difícil de aplicar a todos y que se pueda quedar como se quedó BIP78, que se quedó prácticamente inusable, ¿no? Porque se requería un servidor.
Yo creo que no es el caso, o sea, los insights que tengo yo de la gente que está desarrollando wallets ligeras utilizando Silent Payment no es, o sea, no es una propiedad que no se pueda llegar a conseguir. No es tan fácil como decir, oh sí, simplemente añado esto a mi light wallet y ya lo tienes solucionado, ¿no? Porque tienes que hacer un scan de la cadena, tienes que hacer un scan del UTXO set y es un scan que es bastante más intensivo que un scan normal, ¿no?
También,
no estás mirando simplemente direcciones.
También como un ejemplo que creo que ayudaría para, o sea, si Silent Payments es un concepto nuevo para ustedes, más privacidad en general, imagínense cuando ustedes reciben una carta postal, la dirección que pones generalmente es la dirección de tu casa. Y eso no es bueno para privacidad, porque si yo te quiero mandar algo, ya sé dónde vives. Un silent payment es más como mandarle una dirección a una caja anónima en una oficina postal. Entonces tú vas a esa caja y alguien puede mandar algo a esa caja, pero ellos no saben y tú no revelas dónde vives tú. Más o menos, eso es como un ejemplo para ilustrar cómo protege privacidad o la privacidad del usuario on-chain usando Silent Payments. También quiero hacer como un switch. Ya hemos hablado de innovaciones en Bitcoin según la privacidad. Now I want to talk kind of more broadly, and maybe JJ, over to you and Mario as well. What are innovations, privacy-focused innovations from other ecosystems that, like Cardano or Ethereum, that we can port over or that Bitcoin can learn from?
Sure. So one of the superpowers of the Cardano ecosystem is that we have community-led governance. So if anybody's interested in getting involved in how Cardano and the roadmap and the technical steering committee, all of these things, you can get involved. It's called Intersect MBO. We have a group here in Buenos Aires. We have a group in Rio. It's open for everybody. So if you check it out, it's Intersect MBO, and we invite everybody to participate. This is a big innovation. It's still very tightly controlled. Bitcoin is still, the core development is very focused, and I appreciate that. It is the reason that so much value is still in that ecosystem. But what we've tried to do with this generation of blockchains, try to create bridges. And one of our teams in the Cardano ecosystem, Bitcoin OS, has figured out a bridge called the Grail Bridge, which may allow Cardano to serve as a smart contract layer for Bitcoin. So we're very optimistic about this. We would love to figure out ways to work together, and those conversations are all happening at Intersect. So we would love for everybody to get together and figure out how we can grow the ecosystems together. Because 1 trillion is really big, but I think we can go a lot higher. I think that a lot of value is still outside of the system, and it's with protocols that enable selective disclosure, like Midnight, which is a service layer, a chain that can augment Cardano's capabilities. Services like Midnight can actually allow for more value to come into the crypto ecosystem, and we're optimistic about this in the future. And this is because of privacy, because you're not going to get real-world applications until you can choose which information you disclose and which information remains private on-chain. Right now, we're stuck in a world where all metadata and all transaction information is public to everybody, and until that happens, where you can actually have private information on-chain, real-world assets and various things are going to stay outside of this ecosystem. So let's all work together to try to figure out how to bring more value into the crypto ecosystem.
Nice, you're here. Mario, anything to add in terms of privacy innovations in other ecosystems that are catching your eye?
Yeah, so I already mentioned something in the beginning, the privacy focus in the EVM land was mostly coming from the ZK. And the ZK, again, was like a bit challenging a few years back, right? It evolved a lot since then. I think we did a great job on improving the technology, the base technology and the libraries and the trustless protocols. But what it used to be was very expensive because you had to do all the computation on chain, right? And these days what we are seeing is the off-chain rollups or the layer 2s enabling privacy. And this is something that I would like to see also coming to Bitcoin, because recently there's been a big excitement about the Bitcoin layer 2s, which are inspired by the Ethereum rollups. But most of them, again, focused on scaling, and they don't talk about privacy much. So I would like to see maybe more inspiration in these terms, because yeah, I think it's very powerful when it allows you for private computation, which is as well scalable. And so again, one example that I see very new in Bitcoin and inspired also some Ethereum research is the shielded CSV, the client-side validated data, which is like it's a very new proposal. Jonas was working on it for Bitcoin Core Dev. They published it like a month ago or so. The idea is that you have just ZK nullifiers, just like a proof, there's a number that proves the data is on-chain, on Bitcoin as the data availability. But your wallet, some sort of light client, can verify that this is correct computation and that the transaction actually happened. Anybody can mint like their own like layer. It's not even a chain. The thing is that this doesn't currently work as some sort of chain, and you would need to wait 10 minutes to be included in a block. So the innovation coming from Ethereum here is using what the sequencer that we have in rollups. In ZK rollups, we are using sequencers which are collecting these proofs and then posting them on chain. And this gives you sort of pre-confirmation, much better user experience, much faster confirmation. So I think working together and learning from each other is something that benefits both parts here. Again, like what Jeffrey said here, Ethereum development is also open. Like what I do is actually I help to onboard new core developers using Ethereum Protocol Fellowship. And we have a few people also working on some privacy stuff. One of the proposals we call ZK wormholes. It's an EIP which would create sort of a silent transaction. I believe, from what I understand, you discussed the silent payments here, and it's a similar concept where a transaction enters a ZK wormhole, and then you don't know who claimed it, right? And this can be on a level of a single transaction in Ethereum. So that's one interesting proposal as well.
It's called ZK wormhole.
ZK wormholes. Okay. Yeah. I don't remember the EIP number. My friend from Hamid was working on it. Yeah, this cool dude from Iran. So yeah, there is a ton of stuff. Because the problem is that I think similar problem is also with Bitcoin, is that it's hard to create the on-chain privacy because of two reasons. One is the fundamental technology one, that the technology just works the way it works because it's transparent, because it's open, and everybody can see everything, therefore they can verify everything. So adding the privacy creates new problems. It's also hard to convince to enshrine some solution because then you are stuck with this. And also some people might have a problem with this being private and, you know, and then you end up with this half privacy, like Zcash, for example. It's interesting, but they have like shielded or unshielded way. Most of the people use the unshielded transactions, and then you have the problem with the anonymity set again. So in Ethereum land, what I see is these solutions which are more opt-in, but then give you the full privacy, like some Aztec layer 2, where you can you can enter and then be in fully private land. And what is the dependency of this is censorship resistance. I think the important part of the core L1 blockchain, Bitcoin, the core part of Bitcoin or Ethereum needs to be censorship resistance. That if we have opt-in privacy solution, we need to make sure that people can use it, that miners cannot censor these transactions, for example, right?
Yeah.
So that's one important thing to say. Yeah, sorry, kind of lost myself there. I hope
No, no,
yeah,
you got lost in the privacy sauce. Okay, time flies when you're having fun talking about privacy. We have time for about 2 more questions. La próxima pregunta quería para Arkad. Hemos hablado de términos como ZK wormhole, shielded CSV, silent payments. Estos términos son complicados y ya hemos visto que cuando la privacidad es muy complicada para el usuario no lo va a usar. Arkad, sé que eres el fundador de Lunaticoin y Bitcoin Direct, que llega a educar el usuario sobre la importancia de privacidad. De tu punto de vista, ¿cómo haces para convencer a la gente de la importancia de privacidad y para tu audiencia, cuáles son las cosas que de verdad los motiva?
Sí, creo que la mayoría de bitcoiners no están muy preocupados por la privacidad porque la mayoría está almacenando bitcoin en sus wallets y no están gastando, ¿no? Pero en el momento que empiezan a gastar, muchos de ellos tienen miedo e incluso no tocan esa wallet y deciden comprar bitcoin por otro lado para utilizarlo, ¿no? Tienen pánico porque no saben que cualquier movimiento que pueden hacer la pueden fastidiar. Entonces, creo que si las bases faltan y es importante aprender de autocustodia. Si no aprendes de autocustodia, ahí ya te pierdes un punto para seguir entendiendo eso, ¿no? Es decir, si tú quieres transaccionar en Bitcoin con privacidad, va a requerir de que tú seas proactivo, de que tú aprendas. Si tú coges una wallet de Bitcoin y gastas por defecto, tal como te dice la wallet, 100% tu privacidad va a estar afectada en Bitcoin. Y entonces ahí requiere de que tú aprendas, que aprendas de autocustodia, que aprendas de cómo funciona una transacción y que aprendas cómo, por ejemplo, analistas de la cadena te pueden seguir o, por ejemplo, con cualquiera con lo que interaccionas en los pagos en Bitcoin, también tienen información de ti. El ejemplo sería como, imagínate si tú me das tu cuenta bancaria, yo te pago a ti y yo luego podría ver lo que tú haces con lo que yo te he pagado. Incluso podría ver más actividad económica de la que posees al tú unir varios pagos que recibiste de otros.
Y puedes ver lo que hago en el futuro.
Claro, pues yo puedo ver a futuro lo que vas a hacer y luego los cambios de esos pagos que te quedan los puedes asociar con otros fondos que tienes en tu wallet y al final tú puedes ver toda la actividad económica que tenías. ¿Te gustaría eso? Si tienes una tienda, imagínate que tienes una tienda y recibes pagos de 100 personas. Ahora tienes 100 personas que están viendo tu wallet y que podrían ver cómo gastas esos fondos. Entonces, ahí cuando te das cuenta de eso es cuando te empieza a dar miedo, porque puede afectar a tu seguridad.
Yeah. So we've talked a lot, and Arkad just finished on, I think, like the most appropriate note for talking about privacy in Bitcoin, and that it's right now a huge paradox. The more you want to use privacy or privacy-preserving technology on Bitcoin, the more you have to work for it, and the more you have to educate yourself. And in a lot of ways, that's exactly how Bitcoin works. If you want to learn how to do self-sovereign money, if you want to learn how to use it custodially, you really have to put in the time to learn how to use it. And so that's the reward of the early adopter, that you get to feel good for using a technology, being one of the first. but it's certainly a barrier for everyone else to use it. And if you want to live in a world with privacy, it needs to change. That paradigm has to shift. So we have just about a minute left, and I want to thank all the panelists for your time and energy attention. I think we have time for like a lightning round of hot takes. So if you have anything spicy to say, if you have anything controversial to get off your chest, I see Mario's like warming up. He's probably going to do some trash talking on Monero. But
I have one statement, if
Sergi,
you let
yes.
me. Like, Lightning is not private. I mean, stop thinking that Lightning is private. If you think that you're getting privacy out of it, you get some. If you have to trust in the privacy that you get by using Lightning, you're screwed.
Nice. Fire. Okay, more hot takes. Arkad, algo controversial o algo importante que quieres terminar tú como último nota sobre privacidad en Bitcoin.
Yo creo que Bitcoin debe usarse de forma autónoma y que si quieres ser tu propio banco tienes que gestionar todo, tanto la custodia como tus transacciones. Entonces, no te queda otra que aprender si quieres ser autosuficiente con Bitcoin y no depende de terceros. Te queda trabajar en ello.
Nice. El anti-Michael Saylor. Okay, JJ, over to you. Your hot take.
My hot take is that because Ethereum went, sorry about this, but because Ethereum went in the accounts direction and Cardano went in the UTXO direction, it's going to be the natural complement for Bitcoin in the near future. And I think that the combination of the two is going to be excellent. You have unrivaled value and the security of Bitcoin's protocol, along with a truly decentralized, community-driven smart contracts service for Bitcoin. I think the combination is going to be killer, and we will eventually see that Ethereum killer that has been long prophesied. So,
use Monero.
Okay, all right. Use Monero if you didn't hear that.
Yeah, actually,
final hot take.
Can I just quickly, because in the beginning you said it's a spectrum, and I really like that. I wanted to elaborate on that just for 30 seconds.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to kick you off the stage.
Consider your own threat level, like just to be fully real and practical. Think about yourself, because we talk about crazy technologies here, but you always first need to think, what is my actual threat model? What am I trying to stay private from? There are very different things. Maybe you're just hiding a present from your wife. Maybe you're hiding income from the government so they cannot use it for warfare. Maybe you're running a dark market, leaking government documents, and the Chinese are coming for you. Yeah, so that's, I gotta be careful for when you're doing that. So just consider your threat model, what actually is the privacy that you need, and choose the tools based on that. You don't need to go over the top to be like as private as possible and run very complicated setups. It might be simple for what you need, but you need to understand first, what are my needs, and these are the solutions. And it can be very simple, or you can be a crazy person like me trying to stay fully private because you like it, but you find your spot first and find yourself on the spectrum, because you said the spectrum in the beginning and I didn't elaborate on that, so it was bothering me. Sorry. Yeah, that's my last thought.
Thank you, Mario. Thank you, all the panelists. I hope you all now convinced of the importance of privacy.
Gracias, Elena, también. Muchas gracias.